Hello, 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 hello. Welcome. What's going on? Hoi, hoi, hoi. Welcome to our Sunday special. Normally, I'm not streaming like this on Sundays, but with the election coming up, I wanted to get through a little bit more. So we're gonna get through a little bit more. You will notice my hair is still wet. I just got out of my shower, as a goblin, my monthly dip in some soap. Um, Welcome. Hi. And normally I don't usually work live, but or on Sundays, but welcome. Same bat time, same bat place. But you know what? I have something to apologize for yesterday. I made a mistake yesterday. And the mistake that I made while talking to conservative idiots in my side chat yesterday was that I showed them the total amount of debt at the end of the Harper administration and the end of the Trudeau administration, thinking they would know what those numbers meant and what the context around those numbers were. That was my mistake. I shouldn't have done that. I should have probably just stuck with something visual like the chart we ended up looking at afterwards. But I think that, showing them the numbers just was not the way to go because they didn't understand them. They don't understand what inflation is. They don't understand the context around those numbers, even though the context of those numbers was literally written on the screen in black and white. But that's my bad. That's my fault. I thought too highly. How unfortunate. But alas, we must move on. I have brought in the most crunchiest food I possibly can out of pure disrespect for when we start watching some of this stuff. But I did want to show you this because I thought it was really interesting and noteworthy. This is the Bill Kelly podcast, and I've been watching a little bit of this when I have time, and I've enjoyed his commentary. If I'm not mistaken, he's an old radio dude. But he's got this research showing that Mark Carney gets tougher questions by national media. So let's play this real quick because I just wanted to note, since we are looking at the press releases and the conversations with the media, that this is a viable thing to touch on real quick. So let me play this for you.
According to the survey here, questions put to the candidate, put them basically on the defensive, to ask them to respond, to justify why they said this, or what are the implications, etc. Well, 31% of the questions posed to Poilievre were critical. 9%, almost 70%, as a matter of fact, were either neutral or softball questions. So you got to ask yourself, are they asking the tough questions? Apparently not so much of Poilievre. Carney, on the other hand, who's taken 3 times as many questions as Poilievre has, 44% were critical questions and 56% of the neutral variety. So not only are they asking, and Carney, of course, is taking and fielding more questions, 3 times as many as Poilievre, but he's getting the tougher questions.
Yeah, so I think that's sort of interesting to note that it's Poilievre has been accused of ostensibly screening his questions and limiting, heftily limiting who is allowed to ask questions. He's inaccurately called journalists trying to ask him questions protesters and hecklers. He is also the only one currently who does not have a media member on his plane for his traveling or during any of his thing. Carney is taking follow-up questions. Yes, Space Cafe, good point. Welcome. We've noticed that Poilievre only ever takes 4 questions. Carney will sit there and answer 6 or 7 or 8, or I think last time we looked, he had answered 11 questions and then follow-ups. So, and he's one of the reasons that Poilievre, I guess, has given that he doesn't allow the media to go there is, or to be there like every other candidate has something to do with it being too costly. But that's bullshit because the media pays for it themselves. It's not like the candidate pays. It's not part of the campaign financing. So it really doesn't make any sense. If you know anything about what's going on, no, that's not how it works. It's not. So it's mostly bullshit. And so it's interesting to me personally that not only is Poilievre's presence so curated, more curated than any leader of a party in Canada for a political party. Not only so curated, but even despite how curated he is, he still comes off as an unlikable prick. Bruh. Myril says, I have followed the entire series, and oh my god, Carney has it, in my opinion. He answers questions while Poilievre throws shade. I appreciate following this whole series, because this has been a fucking trip, and we're coming up to the end of it. We're gonna be watching the elections come in, the election night. We're gonna be watching those polls come in over on Debate Hub Official, so go and join us over there. I'm gonna be joined by Landon, who is an American, but is a smart American, so we'll take him. I'm also going to be allowing call-ins, so we're going to have a couple. I already know about one or two people who are interested in calling in, so if that's something that you're interested in, please join us. We're going to be live. When are we going to be live? Let me get the time. I believe 7 p.m. Let me grab it. Let me grab it for you guys, so you guys can have it. And if you want to get a vibe for kind of what we're like, we did do Debate Pub, which is our more casual talking news drinking stream last night. But yeah, here it is. 28 hours to go, 1900. Yeah, so by all means, please feel free to join us. But I'm gonna get alcohol for this because I'm not prepared. There was one where he was talking to an empty room. Poilievre, yeah, there was one where he was talking to an empty room. There was one where he was outside, he was like out back of a building, and he had the journalist all caged off in like this little corner, and there was nobody there like watching what was going on. It was basically fully staged. And then said that one of them was a heckler. Like, I covered it before, but it was pretty crazy. There was also one in Nova Scotia where the journalists said that they were, like, shoved around and, like they got physical with them. Like, his security team got physical with them and, like, kicked them out and, like, wouldn't let them ask questions. And nobody told, like, there was no, like, announcement that he was even really gonna be there. And they knew, but, like, there wasn't, like, crowds of people that were expected to show up. Like, you know what I mean? There wasn't, like... And so it was like super curated. The questions were like listed ahead of time. The photographer was told that they weren't allowed to take pictures. They weren't allowed to be there. Like, it's been crazy. Calling a media person a protester should be grounds for immediate dismissal. Well, this is one of my favorite things. One of my favorite things that people have called Poilievre so far is Timbit Trump. And like, I'm mad that I didn't come up with that. Because that's really, really, really funny. Sorry, 1 second. I have a roommate who needs something. Of course you can take the goblin head. Take the goblin head. It's got dice in it. It's got metal dice in it. You need the mimic too? Okay, just take the goblin head then. What are you doing? What are you doing? Ew, gross. Disgusting. No, don't take it. It's mine now. No, now you can't have it. Ugh. This got horrid. Awful. Unfortunately. No, there's no Baileys in the coffee, but I do have Poilievre. So this is non-American Kahlua. So it's just coffee liqueur. So we'll put a little bit of this in there. We'll put a little bit of this in there. Just a smidgen. Just a smidgen. As an artist, I have brushes on standby. Alright. Yeah, I had a goblin head full of dice that somebody had left and abandoned in my house, so I adopted it and it was mine now, but I guess they're asking for it back and they're trying to steal it back from me, which is unfortunate. Anyway. Yeah, phoned in questions that are read by your own people. Yeah. Lots of screening going on. I just think that's... So, what was I saying? Timbit Trump. Timbit Trump is one of my favorite things. You'll notice that the way Poilievre interacts with the media is with the same kind of hostility that Trump interacts with the media. Like, he calls them hecklers. He says that they're fake news. He says that they don't know what they're talking about. He runs away from questions. He says he's going to take questions and follow-ups and then doesn't. And, like, if he's ever put into it, he gets really awkward really fast. But It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. But today, we are going to start with we're going to start with Carney today. And I feel like every time we watch Poilievre, we don't get very far because there's just so much bullshit. There's just so much bullshit. So let's start with Poilievre. Or sorry, let's start with Mark Carney. This was in London, Ontario, because we're covering Ontario today. This is April 25th, 2025. Link to it I will provide, so if you want to watch the whole thing on your own, you're more than welcome to. The one for Poilievre we're going to watch is from Oakville, Ontario, from April 27th, 2025. So, again, I'm trying to pick these in a way that they're both in the same area, so I'm trying to be, like, a little bit fair about it. So, let's jump into this and see what we got.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to the riding of London Fenshaw. I am your candidate in this riding. My name is Najam Naqvi. I am proud to have over 20 years of experience of.
Kelly, I agree with you. I really hope that the NDP, which is the left in Canada, actually put forward some socialist left policies. It would be nice to have a left party again. It would be great.
Of serving community in London, championing justice, equality, and serving those who are in need.
Okay, I'm gonna jump forward to when Carney shows up. Oh! Hold on, I take it back. Carney's wife's adorable. I want to listen to Carney's wife.
Wow. Thank you. Good evening. Bonsoir tout le monde. It's really great to be here in London today.
She's so cute!
My job tonight is to tell you about someone that I know well and someone that you have got to know a little better over the past few weeks. And I think we can all agree that we face difficult times and we're in a constantly shifting environment. But thankfully, through all of this, the one thing that stays constant is my husband, your Liberal leader.
I like that Kelly is trying to instigate in the chat, but is so, like, ignorant about Canadian politics that they don't understand that the Liberals in Canada aren't our left. It's cute. I appreciate the attempt, Kelly. Good try.
I love it. Through thick and thin, Mark remains steadfast and dedicated.
I also guarantee you that Kelly will not have a reason why we should vote for the Conservative Party. And I guarantee you that one of the things I find amusing about conservative cum-guzzling trolls coming in here, thinking they have a point, is how consistently, every single time, they fall flat on their face because they're really just too stupid to have any idea what's going on. So they just come in here saying, like, pancakes are purple, as if it matters. Has anything to do with anything. The fact that Mark Carney has handled Trump perfectly and so well that other leaders have been taking notes about how to deal with Trump from Canada has been top tier. Let me know how your egg prices are. And the profit that the egg companies made off of you guys getting absolutely fucking ripped off. It's very funny. It's very sad, but also very funny.
He's tireless and always ready to rise to a challenge, no matter what they may be. In fact, rising to a challenge is something of a defining characteristic of Mark. Faced with adversity, he hits the ground running. He's agile and adaptable, and he's calm and cool under fire, which is always useful for me. And he draws on his incredible memory and a depth and breadth.
God, she's so cute. Bringing her out to talk to everybody, to introduce her husband, who she clearly cares about, is such a good political move. It makes him seem so fucking real and likable, and it's fucking fantastic. Yeah, see, what did I tell you? Called it. They got fucking nothing. Elbows up, motherfucker. Get set to get hit.
Experience, which really is second to none.
Oh, did you guys see what's going on in, hold on. Let me pull this up real quick. I was having this conversation in the Discord. Let me show you guys this. Let me show you how fucking boned America is right now. Let me, hold on. Where is it? Here we go. So this is, Grand Forks. Alright? Grand Forks has Grand Forks, a decline in Canadians crossing the international border apparently prompted by the political climate and trade war between the nations, is causing concern at the Visitors Bureau. According to data circulated by Fargo-Moorhead Visitors Bureau, to some of its membership, the port of entry at the crossing at Pembina, North Dakota, so this is in North Dakota, saw March crossings fall from 49,651 vehicle passengers in 2024 to 29,862 in 2025. That is a decrease of 39.85% of vehicle crossings, and that is not counting the passengers within, which fell 33% from 19,565 in March of 2024 to 13,037. Motherfucking America is cooked. Canada's been subsidizing America for decades and doing all of the fucking work. And Americans are just sitting there being like, we don't like Canada anymore, and then suddenly don't get access to our money, and they're actually fucking boned. Your economy is toast. Absolutely toasted. Australia decided to send their military eyes in the sky shit, sell it to us instead of selling it to America. Everybody's canceling their fucking military contracts with America, so that's the American military industrial complex is absolutely fucking screwed. Canada is on point and set up to take over, so we're going to see a massive boom. We're going to see a boom in Canadian lumber. We're going to see a boom in Canadian oil. We're going to see a boom in Canadian jobs. We're going to see a boom in Canadian manufacturing. Your automotive industry is absolutely toasted. Your grocery industry is absolutely fucked. You're getting salmonella in your fucking chicken. Fucking nobody is buying your beef because your FDA is completely screwed and can't even match the standard of any other fucking first world country. America's been a third world country and hasn't noticed for like at least 50 years at this point. You're losing scientists, you're losing doctors, you're losing funding. You got shit. You are so fucking cooked, and it's absolutely hilarious. Alicia, who's been a member for 40 months. Oh, hey, it's the article I posted last night. It is. It absolutely is. Kentucky is gonna go bankrupt because we're not buying your fucking bourbon anymore, and we're gonna keep not buying your bourbon. Your farming industry is screwed because who are you gonna buy potash from? Because it's not gonna be us, or you're gonna spend all your money buying our potash because the only other provider of potash is Russia. And you know who hates America more than Americans hate America? More than MAGA hates America? Russia. If there's anybody who hates America and the American people more than MAGA, it might be Russia. Kentucky has caves. Yo, they got this. Kentucky's got this. Oh my god, fucking so absolutely cooked. The China tariffs, cooked. The fucking... They're so screwed. The economy is so toasted. It's gonna get worse and worse too. And this is disregarding the human rights violations that America is currently doing by, deporting children with cancer. Yeah. Are you guys great yet? Can you tell me how you're great? I'd love to know how you're great. There was one other thing that I saw recently. What was it that America wasn't even remotely comparable to every other fucking first world country? It wasn't specifically the G7, it was just, what was it? Was it medical care? No, but they suck at that. Was it education? No, but they suck at that too. Was it happiness index? No, but they blow ass at that. Was it innovation in science? No, it wasn't that, but nope, they're not at the top of that either. God, I wish I could remember what it was. What a shame. Anyway, let's go back to Carney's cute wife. She makes me happy. She's adorable. I love her.
He tells me that one source of his mental agility is all the years and all the training he received as a goalie. He's always ready, and though he doesn't spend quite as much time on the ice as perhaps he used to, he still has annoyingly fast reactions. And I say annoying because in all the years of playing pickup hockey together, I have not once got a goal past him.
She plays pickup hockey too. Why are you so cute?
So, in hockey, as in his life and his work, nothing gets by him. As his partner, I'm incredibly proud of him. And as a Canadian, I'm so grateful that he is standing strong for our country. And we've traveled together across this great nation, and it's been an enormous pleasure for both of us to connect with people like you who come and listen to us speaking. And I've watched my husband listen, I've watched him learn, and I've seen that he'll never waver in his commitment to make this country better, stronger, and more unified for everyone.
Make Canada great again.
So,
Yeah, Feline, why bother studying when you could be an ignorant schmuck like Kelly and just feel like you know what the fuck you're talking about all the time?
I've been fortunate to be able to count on Mark for more than 30 years. And now you can count on him too. So I'm lucky to have him, we're lucky to have him. Without further ado, my husband, your...
Good evening, London.
I like the Never 51 sign in the back. That's pretty good. My favorite is like how much Carney is clowned and how much Canada has just clowned all over America and Trump for the past couple of months. You think it's bad now? You wait until this motherfucker is prime minister. If Mark Carney wins a majority government, which he is set, like the polls are saying that that's likely what's going to happen. If Carney wins, if you think him clowning on Trump is bad now, the plans that he's already set in motion, the plans that he's already got staged for the next person are going, shit's gonna get fucking wacky. Shit is gonna get fucking wacky. America's gonna get groin stomped. That is currently the trajectory that America is on. And half of it is just because America doesn't want to put its dick away and it keeps waving it around everywhere like anybody fucking cares. The abject embarrassment at the Pope's funeral. The abject embarrassment back from fucking his first term. Every time this man is in front of or around world leaders, he is just left to go stand on his own in the corner and look at the ground like a dejected fucking child that nobody wants to hang out with because they're the bully. It's fucking embarrassing. Can you like, if there's any fucking American conservative that's watching this, can you please explain to me why you voted for Trump, you fucking moron? Why? Because you should be embarrassed. Because this is embarrassing.
I am so happy to be back in London. I tell you, we were here during my leadership campaign, February 4th. We went to Joe Cool's. Who's been to Joe Cool's? Who was there at Joe Cool? You were there. You were there. My friend Debbie was there. It was packed.
Oh my god, he's actually talking about the local fucking drinking pool, and he is recognizing specific people who showed up at his rallies. God damn.
And Ariel and Peter were there, and it was the first.
It's very smart to introduce Carney this way. Yeah. It brings him down to a very human level as opposed to being like this high-ended intellectual. Right? And then the way he proceeds to speak is very, like, down to earth. And, like, Poilievre isn't like that. Poilievre doesn't talk like that. Poilievre talks like he's smarter than everybody else, and it's off-putting for a lot of people. He's not my leader. I would rather have somebody like Zelensky. Yeah, fair enough. Somebody with some balls? Yeah, go figure.
First time I felt the feeling that's sweeping this country of coming together, not just standing up to the Americans, but building a great Canada. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm going to be in trouble. I haven't thanked my wife yet. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Diana. Not just.
Oh, they're so cute. I haven't thanked my wife yet. Brother. Poilievre, who's telling the stories himself, letting other people tell the stories for. He's got charisma. He's funny. Canadians love a good comedian, man. One of the, like, comedy is a Canadian value. You go look around at TikTok, you go look around on YouTube, and you go find, like, the funny content creators, you'd be surprised how many of them are Canadian.
Not just for reading the introduction that I wrote, but for all of her tireless work on this campaign, and she has been crisscrossing the country, crisscrossing my riding, hammering in signs, knocking on doors, making phone calls, a commitment and compassion consistent with that she brings to everything she does. So thank you, Diana. Would not be here without you. And to be back to London.
Oh my god, just sitting there praising his wife for doing a bunch of the hard background work that he did. Oh my god, it's so cute. Oh!
Back to London, this beautiful, vibrant city. Rivers Greens Jazz Festival, London Nights, headed...
For anybody who doesn't know, I used to live in London.
Headed to the Memorial Cup. You know it. I'm coming back. I am coming back. And also home to 5 amazing Liberal candidates that we need in Ottawa to build Canada. We need your help.
One thing that's noteworthy about the differences in the crowd from what we watched yesterday of Poilievre, Carney's crowd seems comfortable to interact with him. Right? They're shouting, they're cheering, they're like... Poilievre's crowd cheered, but they cheered on cue. Right? Whereas Carney is interacting with the audience in a way that Poilievre does not.
And for that to happen, we're at a college, place of education, excitement, engagement, and I've got the 4th thing. It's on a medal. Will come empowerment. Okay, but you get a quiz every once in a while. So I have a question. Who's ready? Who is ready? Who is ready to stand up for Canada with me? This is the right. I've come to the right place. I've come to the right place. And who is ready to help the Liberal Party win the most consequential election of all? And we need you. We need you. We need every last one of you. Because President Trump's trade war, it has ruptured the global economy. It has betrayed our country, America's neighbor, America's closest friend, America's steadfast ally.
Oh my god. Directly framing America as traitors is a pretty big deal. That's a pretty big word. But here's the thing. That's how Canada feels. That's how Canadian people feel. You'll notice that Poilievre will never speak aggressively against Trump. Because he's Maple MAGA. Because he and his people work with Trump. Because they want to be Trump. Because that's what they want. And they have a base, some of their base, their more aggressive base, are fucking Timbit Trump and Maple MAGA. Right? So you've got this scenario where, like, calling America a traitor is a big deal, and it sets the tone for what and how Carney is going to handle America versus the way Poilievre is going to handle America if whoever wins. Although I'm beating around the bush and Carney is likely going to win. And he's likely going to win a majority, which I'm fine about. But again, we're not at polling day. I want him to win at this point. Poilievre is just an annoying little weasel. But framing it that way is, to me, that's big language.
No more. No more. This is a tragedy. It is a tragedy, but it is also our new reality. And because it's our reality, this is a time for serious leadership and a united Canada.
Serious leadership, as opposed to Poilievre.
100%. 100%. We need to come together to fight, to protect, and to build. As if by magic, the signs appear. We will fight Trump's tariffs.
Fuck, he's funny!
Counter tariffs of our own that will cause maximum damage in the United States with minimum impact here in Canada. And that's what we're doing. They're already complaining about it. We will protect our workers and the businesses that are most affected. We will use every...
So, he's saying we will do these things. But something I need to realize that we watched in our first one, when he was in BC, he's already put things in place. This has already happened, so these aren't empty promises. This isn't he's just saying something to get votes and then he's not going to do it, right? He's already put things in place. Windsor had a bunch of job loss due to automotive tariffs and stuff. And Carney, as current prime minister, has already put things in to help protect them and give them time to find work and adjust and yada, 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 and invest, etc., etc. So it's not empty when he says that. However, it's an interesting framing. Let's put this back for 1 second. Let me play it again.
That's what we're doing. They're already complaining about it. We will protect our workers and the businesses that are most affected. We will use every single dollar that we collect from our retaliatory tariffs to protect those workers.
This is policy that is already implemented. I would also like to point out, by the way, for anybody who doesn't know, Carney has had to stop campaigning 3 times. 3 times he's had to get off the campaign trail and go and actually deal with parliamentary issues. 3 times.
And above all, in London. In Ontario, we need to unite to build. We need to unite to build Canada strong. You know, building big, very nice. Yeah, very nice. There we go.
He stops and listens.
Very good. So, thank you. Thank you. You know what? It's going to require, to get us in that position, it's going to require some big changes. And I'm ready to make those changes. I'm not a career politician. I'm not a career politician. Sorry. If you're looking for a career politician, I'm not.
We're voting for the same fucking thing. Canada is voting for the exact same thing that America did. It's just your candidate was a piece of shit, and you knew he was a piece of shit. Trump, not a career politician. Trump, businessman. People cared about the economy and wanted him to do something about the economy. They trusted the businessman who had multiple bankruptcies, who is a abject failure and is just an awful fucking human being and a felon. Canada's making the same choice. They're voting for a not career politician who's a fucking economist. But instead of trusting a fucking businessman, we're trusting an economist with a very, very good record. And a record that transcends political party. Because he worked for Harper. He showed up and helped when Harper asked him to get out of the 2008 financial crisis. And Harper praised him for it. That's the Conservative Party. Versus a career politician, who is Poilievre. Poilievre is a career politician. If you're a conservative out there and you want to vote for Poilievre, can you tell me a single thing that he's been successful at in his 20 years in politics? What has he done in politics in his time? He's had 20 years. What has he done? What's in his resume, in his record? It's not negotiation, it's not foreign policy, it's not negotiating with foreign entities, it's not financial. Housing is in a crisis, and he was Harper's housing minister. They were gonna make him finance minister, and then Harper was like, meh, maybe we don't. What has he done? He's really good at sloganeering. You mean he's really good at ripping off Donald Trump?
Not your guy. I am, though, a pragmatist. And so when I see something... When I see something that's not working, I change it. And that's exactly what we did when I first became Prime Minister. As soon as I became Prime Minister, we all know that homes are too expensive. So we cut taxes on them. And said...
You want tax cuts? He's got tax cuts for you. You want tax cuts? He's got tax cuts.
Set out a strategy to build twice as many of them.
I like that he's shaking his head at being cheered. He's like, what are you what are you guys cheering? I haven't said anything yet. He's funny, guys. He's funny. I would literally vote for this man just because of funny versus not funny. I would take somebody with a sense of humor over somebody with not a sense of humor if those were my only two options.
Thank you. We didn't have this at Joe Cool's. They weren't threatened by us at the time. That's right. So we cut taxes on homes, but we know we got to build, baby, build. So we are going to build twice as many of them every year using Canadian technology, Canadian skilled trades, Canadian lumber.
Brother, build, baby, build, ripping off the drill, baby, drill, which is Poilievre's fucking plan with his pipelines. Oh my god! And it's also a really big dig at the Conservative platform. If you've read the Conservative platform, their solution for everything is to cut taxes. and then say, oh, we're going to do these things. And it's like, okay, but how are you going to pay for them if you're cutting all the taxes? Well, the solution is tax cut, tax cut, tax cut. And what Carney is saying is like, cutting a tax isn't good enough. We need to do more than that. And it's all investing in Canada.
And we're going to... When I got...
There's something special about... Remember earlier, a couple of minutes ago, I said that if Mark Carney gets the majority, fucking Trump and America are absolutely fucking cooked, and it's gonna get very, very, very fucking, very fucking silly. The fact that he's spinning fucking Trump's drill baby drill into build baby build, and then, like, slapping America by saying that they're traitors, that they've betrayed us, and then they are traitors, is fucking savagery at its finest. And this is all after he has said that the relationship between Canada and America is over. Right? Like, holy shit.
When I got into office, I saw that the capital gains tax was stifling those very builders that we need, innovators, hardworking people, so we got rid of it. We got rid of it. And I knew back then, and I said this back then at Joe Cool's back in early February, it was cold, I gotta say, but we knew then, because we're listening, the consumer carbon tax was too divisive, so we eliminated it on day one, saving you updates. And we're gonna get... Now,
I like that he clarified that the reason they got rid of it was because it was too divisive, not because it wasn't working. Right? He didn't say the carbon tax didn't work. He didn't say it wasn't a good thing. He said it was too divisive. It wasn't doing what it needed to do in totality because it might have been working in one area, it wasn't working in another. Calling out that it specifically was divisive is actually, like, incredibly transparent. More so than most politicians are when they talk about this kind of stuff.
Now we're going to get the big polluters to pay you for saving energy. We'll get them to pay.
God, that's so smart. It's such a smart way to frame it. I don't know why. I don't know why conservatives who say they want these things don't want to vote for Carney. Outside of tribalism, outside of obsession with political colors, outside of just other hateful reasons like, you know, misogyny and racism, which is the real thing that Poilievre is selling. Timbit Trump. So funny. Timbit Trump kills me. But... And April makes a good point. They say, I don't love getting rid of capital gains taxes, but I trust him to know more than I do about the economy. And so that's part of the thing, isn't it? Can you trust that you might not agree with a decision, but that at least Carney is going to try to make what he believes is a good decision for the country and for the people in the country? I don't trust Poilievre to do that. I don't trust that Poilievre's not just gonna do whatever he thinks is best for him at the time, and like and be like a weenie, like an uncooked hot dog flopping around, doing whatever he thinks is good for him at the time. The same thing that Trump does, right? Trump just does whatever he thinks is good for him at the time, regardless, consequences be damned, right? Which, you know, I guess some people like, but I don't think that that's a sign of a good leader, nor do I think that that's necessarily good for a country. At least when it comes to Carney, I get the vibe that even if I don't know what he's doing, or I don't agree with something he's doing, I trust that he is at least, one, intelligent, and two, listens to people, like other professionals, who do know what they're talking about in fields that he might not be a professional in, right? Like scientists, for example. But... also, yeah, he's got the track record. And also that sometimes plans and steps have more than one. There's more than one step. Like Trudeau's pipeline. I didn't agree with Trudeau's pipeline. I'm like, I don't think this is a really good idea, but at least I can understand the thought process. I understand why, and why this is a long-term plan with multiple steps. right? So I might not agree with the cutting of capital gains tax, for example. I might not agree with that. I might not like that. But if it's part of a larger plan that involves, we're going to cut this tax so these builders want to build more, but the builders aren't going to be getting their money from you, the consumer. The builders are going to be getting their money from the government because the government is going to be buying the contracts to build the homes. So if the government is doing that and the government's the one paying for it, the capital gains tax doesn't harm the consumers at the end of the day, right? It means the government acts as that buffer between point A and point B to bring the cost of housing down overall, right? So this is just like I'm just speaking in hypotheticals. I don't know if that's what's going to happen. I don't know if that's what the plan is. It seems to be part of the plan, but again, he's the economist, not me, right? We would never vote for Carney because he is a crook and a con man who is in bed with China. Do some freaking research on the crook. Do you have a citation for that? Where should I find out that he is a crook? Those are some bold, slanderous accusations you got there. Surely you would have a citation for that. By the way, Canada currently, right now, as I showed yesterday, is more favorable towards China than they are with America. So maybe working with China is not actually considered by Canadians to be that bad of a thing. Yeah, do you have a citation for him being a con man? What did he con anybody about? You've got two claims of crime, so clearly you must have a guilty verdict somewhere, right? At least when I say Trump is a con man, I can point to all of his felonies. And if I want to say that Poilievre is laughably corrupt, I can point at the investigation into election interference from India. So, what do you got for me there, Roddy boy? I can wait. By the way, do you want to tell me why I should vote for somebody else instead of just telling me why people shouldn't vote for Carney? Well, you're at it. I should play the citation needed. I've only been covering this for a little while, and I only did an entire video learning about Mark Carney and looking at his history. So clearly I obviously don't know anything and must have missed something somewhere. That's okay, I'll wait. Oh, don't tell me they ran off that quickly. No? Don't tell me you came in here thinking you were going to be able to make claims and nobody would ask you for a citation. You're telling me you weren't prepared? It should be easy. Come on. It should be easy to show such a bold assertion. No? I need a new tea. Let's give Roddy Boy a chance. Let's give Roddy Boy a chance. I'll get some more of this. You get your shit together. It's fine. You don't have to piss yourself. It's okay. No, nothing? Still nothing? No? Vote conservative tomorrow, let's bring it home. Why? Can you tell me why people should vote for the Conservative Party? I've been waiting. I keep asking people, why should I vote for Poilievre and why should I vote for Mark Carney? The reasons why people think I should vote for Mark Carney are very clear. Like, it's pretty straightforward. Can you tell me why I should vote for Pierre Poilievre? Come on, not Michael. I believe in you. Why should I vote for Pierre Poilievre? Bro jumped into the zoo exhibit and dipped when he realized it was a lion's den. Whoops. Yeah, bring what home? Good question. It's okay. Give not Michael a chance. Why should I? Give me your main reason. Give me your one big thing. Why should I vote for Pierre Poilievre? Every conservative that has come in here so far since I started this series has failed to give me one reason why I should vote for Pierre Poilievre. One example is the catch and release bail platform of the No, that's not a reason why I should vote for Poilievre. You're telling me why I shouldn't vote for Mark Carney. Why should I vote for Poilievre? I believe in you, it's okay. Every single conservative that has come in here has failed to actually provide a reason why I should vote for Poilievre. That is a reason why I shouldn't vote for Carney. Why should I vote for Poilievre? It's okay, you can be the one. You can do it. 21 people in here voting Liberal tomorrow, you guys are going to lose, I'm sorry, Cope harder. Why is it Cope for me to ask you why I should vote for Poilievre? What did I tell you? Conservatives are not able to have a conversation. They're not capable. It's impossible. We're batting 0 to 20 at least. Good God. Yeah, not everybody in here is a Canadian, my guy. The internet is international, my friend. I have actually a very eclectic follower list, subscriber base. So yeah, not everybody. There's some Australians in here. There's some Canadians. There's some people from the UK. There's a couple people from America. Luckily for us, we don't have to assume Carney's actually got his security clearance. Yeah. Okay. And can you tell me why I should vote for Poilievre? My brother in Christ, this is not a hard conversation. Why is it so difficult for conservatives to tell me why I should vote for their candidate? They're really gung-ho for the guy, but they can't provide me one reason why I should vote for him. If your answer is because you like the color blue, at least you're fucking honest. I can't give you that much. I'm gonna play some more of this. And then we'll jump into Poilievre.
Nous avons élargi l'accès aux
I'm gonna skip the French.
Canadiens de soins dentaires pour que 5 millions. Pendant la première, we don't want to be dependent. As you need. Nos exportations, l'Union n'aura pas moins. At the end of my first week, I brought together all the premiers to Ottawa. Not always the best idea. I brought together all the premiers at Ottawa. And we all agreed to...
Fuck, he's funny. He's got jokes. The man's got jokes.
Eliminate all the barriers on trade and labor mobility inside our country. And I thought as I was going home that night, I thought, when is the last time they agreed on anything? Except for hating the federal government, perhaps, but this was positive because you know what? We got in that room in the middle of a crisis. I'll salute Premier Ford, Premier Houston, Premier Canoe, others. We got in that room during a crisis, and we realized, you know what? We need one Canadian economy, not 13.
That's actually a huge deal. Even if Mark Carney is only prime minister for a super duper short time, the fact that he was able to do so much in such a short period of time is actually impressive.
And you don't...
Regardless of whether or not you're going to vote for him, regardless if you're conservative or whether you're liberal or NDP or Green or the Bloc, that's impressive.
And you don't have that kind of agreement if you're the Prime Minister without following up on your side. So we will do our part. We will get rid of all federal barriers by July 1st. Free trade in Canada by Canada Day.
So again, the main talking points that I've seen come from conservatives that they want less taxes, that they want less government oversight and less like government bureaucracy, right? He's so far listed how he's cut taxes and listed how he's doing less government bureaucracy so far. I like how could like this is the most pathetic. Not Michael, I'm really sorry, but you sound really beta. I'm not gonna lie. This is really beta behavior. Hello, am I banned yet? I thought you said you were typing your answer. Apparently not.
So in 9 days.
Oh yeah, by the way, the guy who was repeating foreign interference talking points that have been pushed by Russia about lying about Mark Carney and his calling him a con and calling him a what was the other one? Where they say that he was in bed with China and blah 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 blah. Yeah, they ran away. As soon as they were asked for a citation, they ran away. Man, even flat earthers at least try. It won't let me type anything longer than 3 sentences. My guy, you have 2 brain cells? Can you rub them together? Type one message, hit enter, type the next one, and hit enter. Or even better, I'll give you one more. Type it out, the whole thing, hit copy, and paste it. Everything computer! My unfinished journey for 222 said Hail Nero, Chesh, and Carney, NCC 2028. Okay, let's go!
One country, and nation unie.
Okay, good idea. Yeah, you're welcome. Don't forget to say thank you and make sure you show up in a suit.
9 days. In 9 days as a new government, we did more than Pierre Poilievre has imagined in all his decades.
Alright, so it did take 15 minutes before we got to talking about Poilievre, and that is a sick fucking burn. Because Poilievre has been in politics for 20 years, and from my understanding, he's passed one bill. One in 20 years. So, damn. And I pose this question again. What has Poilievre done in his 20 years in politics? What has he accomplished? Please, conservatives, enlighten me.
Government, we did more than Pierre Poilievre has imagined in all his decades. You know, sometimes actually I think he doesn't.
No, here we go. Lower taxes, smaller government, fiscal responsibility, economic growth focus, traditional values. Pierre Poilievre stands for giving Canada more control in their own lives. Okay, so let me tell you why that's not true. First off, Carney's already talked about lowering taxes, and in fact has lowered taxes. I would also point out that Poilievre has voted against those things. Next one was smaller government. Okay, well, he just stated that he's planning on removing all federal regulations between the provinces for trade. That's smaller government. That's shrinking government power. All right, next off, fiscal responsibility. Do you think an economist or a career politician who uses your tax money to pay for a fully staffed mansion is going to be more fiscally responsible? I would also like to point out that, sorry, I'll ask one more thing. Not Michael, have you read the conservative docket? Like their manifesto, like what they want to do. Have you read that? Yeah, just yes, no, real quick. I just want to know where I'm starting off here. He profits off of the carbon tax that he cut? It's okay. Hold on. Yes, no. Have you read that? Yes or no? I just need to know how much I need to explain. Okay, so then you know that, in fact, the Conservative Party's stances are fiscally irresponsible because they're going to cut everything and then say they're going to fund things. So how are they going to fund things if they cut everything? It's fiscally irresponsible. And it's going to cause a lot of crime, actually. Second off, economic growth focus. Okay, that Poilievre's growth focus is to drill, baby, drill. It's to build pipelines. Pipelines are a terrible investment for a couple of reasons, one of them being the Paris Accords. The world is moving away from oil, so he's going to invest a bunch of money. By the time those things are done, most countries, you're talking about a 75-year gap, most countries will be moved away from oil. So, traditional values, I don't know what that means. What are traditional values? Carney is married to a woman, has a handful of kids. Pierre Poilievre stands for giving Canadians more control over their own lives. That is factually not the case. He wants to revoke gay marriage, which is the government in getting involved in telling you who you are and are not allowed to get married to. They want to remove legislative rights for people who are discriminated against. So that's less control over your own life. He wants to ban abortions, which is less bodily autonomy for women and less bodily autonomy for their pregnant person's partner if there's any kind of accidents. They want to remove euthanasia, which gives you less choice as an elder person and less choice as a parent with a sick child. That is less control, that is less choice, that is the government forcing you to watch your baby suffer and die for longer periods of time. It literally says that. It says that you must have this, which is a forcible thing. And oh, there was one other one when it comes to control. What was it? I want to say it was something related to mental health care, but I've forgotten. So, again, tell me why, if there's both a focus on these things in the Liberal Party and the Conservative Party, why should I pick the Conservative Party? What about those policies is why I should vote for Poilievre? So, because again, this is just a half answer. So tell me, why should I vote for Poilievre if the Conservatives are saying these things, but voting against these things, and the Liberals are saying these things and have done some of these things? Why should I vote for Poilievre? All right, I should do a 10 questions Canadian Conservatives cannot answer video. That would be very funny, yeah. Lower taxes for the wealthy. Yeah, okay, yeah. So if you want to talk about lower taxes, the conservative tax cut doesn't function, right? The conservative tax cut, so for example, let's talk about the tax cuts real quick. So the tax cuts, if you cut, it's a 15% on income tax, right? So how much would you get, and will that let you buy a house? If you got a 15% tax cut on your income, would you be able to afford a house? Would that be enough to offset the cost of a house? Let's call it in 5 years. The answer is no. For most Canadians, the answer is no. So it is going to disproportionately give large swaths of money and remove upward mobility for socioeconomic status. On top of that, when you want to talk about home and cost of homes, the breakdown of Poilievre's plan is buy 20 homes, get one free, which is meaningless and useless to anybody any first-time home buyer. Carney is a career banker. He has nothing to do with the carbon tax. It's not a cut. What isn't a cut? Cutting the carbon tax isn't cutting taxes. Cutting the sales tax on houses isn't a tax cut. What are you talking about? Projection is fun. Yeah. Bro, you said platitudes. Gives us something to chew on. Yeah. Communist traitors. Not traitors like as in you've betrayed somebody. Traitors like we trade in communism. Define communism. I believe in you. You can do it. I like how I gave him a thorough breakdown and he's too busy pissing his pants in the chat to listen. Again, we're back to use paint, show the numbers. Show the numbers. What's okay if you're paying 20%, or if you're paying $200, all right, let's do the numbers. They like math, right? Michael, hey. What if you're making $200 and you're paying 20% tax, and that tax goes from 20% to 15%? What's the difference? Do I need to start a tally of how many conservatives I've chased off this fucking channel? Hey, now Michael, you're paying $200. You're making $200. 20% tax. Your tax gets dropped by 15%. What's the difference? Don't answer for Michael. Let Michael do his own math. He's a conservative. He cares about the economy. He cares about tax cuts. He should know all this math. You pay a whopping X amount of less tax. What is X? Yeah, what is X? Solve for X, Michael. Come on. You couldn't even figure out how to send messages without our help. What are you talking about? Did you notice that he still sent it in one message, by the way? Not really chased off, I mean, they're the ones who bitch and then run away all on their own accord. Yeah, you asked for a citation, right? They still really haven't provided a reason why you would vote for the Conservative Party, so they've already failed on that one, unfortunately. Come on, do the math. No? He gone? He gave up? He gave up as soon as the math started? Ah, gosh darn, what a shame. It's almost like conservatives don't know how to have a conversation. Conservatives don't understand economics and don't understand math. And don't understand math. And they're just trying to feed you regurgitated Russia cum that they sucked out of Poilievre's asshole. The streak continues. One day, a conservative will come in here and know what they're fucking talking about. One day.
He doesn't have an imagination, he just mimics Donald Trump.
Oof. Oofta. I'm gonna put that back real quick. I'm gonna put that back because I don't listen to this bit again. Fucking burned.
One country, une nation unie. In 9 days as a new government, we did more than Pierre Poilievre has imagined in all his decades.
I have a really good question for conservatives. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with the fact that Mark Carney did more in 9 days for his first time in a position of power in government, his first time in a political position, in 9 days, has done more than Poilievre has done in 2 decades? How do you parse that? That is a fact. So how do you parse that? How do you deal with that? How do you cope with that? Is it by pissing yourself? Because that's all that's happening here. Yeah, they cry.
You know, sometimes actually I think he doesn't have an imagination, he just mimics Donald Trump.
Fucking burned. April says the worst part is that there are legitimate reasons not to like Carney, but none of them seem to know what they are. Yeah, no, there are things about Carney's plan that I don't agree with. There are things that Carney has said that I don't like. I have criticisms of Mark Carney. We haven't gotten to any of them because we're too busy dealing with piss babies in the chat. Maybe one day we'll get to them, but it might not be this day.
So the question, just imagine what we could do together over the next few years if we get a strong mandate on Monday. That's what we need. You know, we need a strong positive mandate. We need a strong government because as Donald Trump as Donald Trump made clear just a few days ago in the Oval Office and in an interview just released this morning, President Trump, to be absolutely clear, we've seen this from the start, he is trying to break us so that America can own us. That's what they want. And that will never happen. That will never happen. They got to come through London. They got to come through London if they want us. No chance, no chance. I don't recommend it.
That's a smart way to play to the base.
Those two behind me should be enough to take the Americans. Look, we are over, and it was tough. I got to admit myself, we are over the shock of the betrayal. But we should never forget the lessons. You know, we have to look out for ourselves. And above all, we have to take care of each other. We didn't ask for this fight. No, damn right we didn't ask for it. But Canadians are always ready when someone else drops the gloves. Americans drop the gloves. And in this trade war, just like in hockey, we will win. We're gonna kick that
It's good. It's a good speech. It gets people riled up. It hits the right buttons. It makes a common enemy out of the Americans.
You know, like many of you, like this great city, hockey has played a big part in my life. Yeah, go Knights, go, exactly. Go Leafs. Okay, go Leafs, go. Okay. But I got the oil in the yeah, we got the oil there. We're in McJesus, that's the spirit. I believe.
For anybody who's not Canadian and doesn't get those references, the Oilers are the Edmonton team, and Mark Carney is from Alberta. So that he's talking about the Oiler. The oil is the Oilers team.
I believe, still. I grew up, trying to get different values when I was younger. I grew up with the values back in Edmonton, values I learned at the kitchen table, in the classroom, and on the ice. My parents were teachers, and they stressed, yeah. They stressed.
Oh my god, Canada actually likes teachers. Go figure. We value education? Crazy. We could definitely do better, in my humble opinion, but alas, always improving.
The importance of
The progressive PM coming from Alberta is just sweet irony. Yeah, it tells you that. I looked at a poll, right? I showed this a little while ago, but I was looking at a poll and it basically showed that the disparagement between the Conservatives and the Liberals in Alberta alone is actually only 25%. And that's not including that the NDPs have like a 15 or 16%. So if you just divide it into left and right, then the left in Alberta is actually damn near even with the Conservatives in Alberta. So that's interesting. Of course, the Conservatives in Alberta have been driving Alberta's economy into the fucking dirt. So, you know, and literally lighting the province on fire until the federal government comes and saves them from themselves. So, oh, and also bankrupting municipalities. Oh, and also making sweeping, with zero discretion, cuts, like funding cuts for money that was already there, already established, already being used, not even like cutting useful things in the future. And took food away from kids with cancer, because that's productive.
Working hard, supporting our community, and caring for other people. And my coaches in hockey taught me to play hard, be ambitious, but because it's Canada, stay humble at the same time.
Big Poke Family is asking, but wasn't it the Liberals that put this country in this position? Sorry, which country in which position? I assume you mean the Liberals put Canada into a position. Which position are you talking about? I'm just not entirely sure what you're referring to. So if you could be a little bit more specific. I'm more than happy to answer your question. Chat seems like they've got a little bit of a better grasp of what you're trying to talk about, but I just want to be clear before I answer. So if you don't mind clarifying a little bit, I'm more than happy to answer your question.
These are the values I see in London. These are London values. These are Canadian values. Et je me suis appuyé. Transform me. Now, I know someone who doesn't get any of this, Pierre Poilievre, because I have seen I have seen this movie before. Okay, it's fine. I've seen the Poilievre movie before around the world. He's that type of lifelong politician who worships at the altar of the free market, despite never actually having to work in the private sector. Yeah. Much easier that way. No collision with reality. The kind of politician who hasn't changed his mind by his own admission since he was 17. Has anyone?
Yeah, though that is real. He did say that. He said that on an interview with Jordan Peterson because, of course, he went down to go hang out with traitors that were abandoning Canada. Because that's a good look as if you want to lead Canada is to kowtow to people who say they want nothing to do with us anymore. That is true. That I've actually talked about it on stream. You can go and look at it. It's there. Ew.
Above 17, have you learned anything in the last? I've learned a lot. Make mistakes, you learn. But always relies on a reflex to cut and to divide and to rhyme. We need solutions.
Okay, that was fun. He's calling him out for sloganeering. He axes the taxes, guys. And when he said rhymed, that means that he's got a plan that'll work. We're gonna vote for that. Alright, my 2 cents is in here now. Come on, man. I believe in you. Will you be the first conservative to break the losing streak and tell us why should we vote for Pierre Poilievre? Why? Tell me why. Come on. I believe in you. Oh, also, if you could do me the favor, real quick, the last guy ran away before he could answer this question. If you've got $200 and you're paying 20% tax on the $200 and you get a 15% tax cut, what's the difference? Solve for X. What's the amount of money that you're getting? Thanks. If you could answer that one.
Solutions, not slogans. Yeah.
The irony that solutions, not slogans, is a slogan.
We need calm. We need calm, not chaos, and we need action, not anger. Because the politics of slogans and anger and chaos, let's look south of the border. Those politics are dividing and weakening the Americans. Yeah. And we will win. We will win this battle if we're strong and united.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. And it's a good idea to hearken to how much of a shit show America is right now, to say that why would we want to vote for somebody who is doing the same thing as Donald Trump? Why would we want that? Like, look at how bad America is doing. Look at their economy. Look at the value of the US dollar. Look at everything that's going on. So why would we... Red Cedar, this is a question for conservatives who come in here to answer, not you. Let them do the math themselves. You've got to let them do it. If they don't do it themselves, they'll never learn. You can't just give them the answer. If you keep giving them the answer, they'll never stop eating the crayons.
You know, the Americans want our strength. They want our resources. They want our water. They want our land. They want our country. They want our country. They do. Never. And they're not going to get it because Canada is not America. Canada is not America. You look at it. You look at America. America, they say America is a melting pot. You look around this room. You look around this room. We're all Canadians. We're all distinct. You look at the diversity in this room. Canada is a mosaic. In America.
That's a good call out. Calling out the diversity versus the homogeny in the Conservative Party is a really good talking point.
In America, healthcare.
I also just realized that the last guy didn't even answer what traditional values meant. No, Mike Broccoli! 10-second rule.
Healthcare is a big business. In Canada, it is a right. That's a right we deserve.
Yeah, the Conservatives want to privatize healthcare, so if you think that your tax cut is going to make your insulin cost and like less, it won't. Where did Carney move Brookfield again? So that wasn't the question. Why should I? He didn't move Brookfield. First off, that's just incorrect. So no, good try. We've read that. We already know about that. So no. If you want to say that he's tied into U.S. business, I would love to know how, especially considering all of his assets are in a blind trust. So if you want to go ahead and explain that and explain how he would know that. Whether or not any smart business person does not have their assets in America right now. They've actually all been moving out of America, so that seems unlikely anyway. And second off, can you answer the two questions I asked? Why should I vote for Poilievre? God forbid businessmen do business, right? God forbid an economy is tied into a global economy. Which is something, by the way, Harper praised and Poilievre praised, which now they seem upset. What is it, the WEF, the World Economic Forum? The World Economic Forum was something that was encouraged and applauded by Harper and Poilievre back in Harper's day. The World Economic Forum is just people having a conversation about the world economics in a forum. I like how it became a conspiracy. But again, do the math. 20% on 200 with a 15% cut. Solve for X. And then tell me why I should vote for Poilievre.
Et aux États-Unis, on ne reconnaît pas les différences. So we got that settled. We're agreed on that. The question is, what do we do? What do we do now? We're in this crisis. We fight. Yeah, that's right. But first thing we have to do in a crisis is prepare for the worst, not hope for the best. Okay. We've got to distinguish between what we can change and what we can't. We can't change President Trump, right? So we need a leader who will stand up to him. Right. Le Canada.
Poilievre so far has, in fact, failed to stand up with any, strong conviction against Donald Trump so far. So this is all, again, back to a good talking point for the Liberals.
Le Canada. Le Canada a besoin d'un leader qui control our economic destiny with the right plan. A leader who understands how we vont contrôler notre destin économique. We need a leader who understands how we can control our economic destiny with the right plan.
All right, Conservatives, do you agree with that? Do you agree that Canada needs a leader that can control our position in the economic world stage with a plan? Do you at least agree with that? Yes, no. $200 is a bad example. Can you answer the question, dude? I'm using that number as an easy number to use, not because it's the most accurate median income. Good God. Yes, can you give me the answer? 200, 20%, 15% cut, solve for X. Either do it or don't.
Because in a crisis, plan beats no plan. And in a crisis, we have to act with overwhelming force to overcome the anxiety.
I was being kind by giving you 200. So do it at 200 or fuck off and demonstrate that you can't do the math.
The anxieties that we feel as we feel anxieties during the crisis. We have to act with overwhelming force to break through the fog of uncertainty that businesses face, and above all, to replace what the crisis is taking away. That's what our plan for Canada Strong will do. That's what we will do. We will start by making sure that the government spends less of your hard-earned tax dollars in order that Canadians can invest more. But the core of our plan is to build, baby, build. Build, baby, build. Notre plan va permettre de bâtir des millions de logements.
Involved in a pipeline, eh? Isn't that the thing that the conservatives say that they want? More pipelines? And now if it's Carney involved in a pipeline, it's a bad thing? By the way, that doesn't answer the questions. Why should we vote for Pierre Poilievre? $200, 20% on taxes, you're getting a 15% tax cut. What's the number?
Une superpuissance énergétique, de bonnes carrières dans les emplois spécialisés. And it will usher in, will fight back against President Trump's trade war. And it will usher in a new era of investment, of jobs, of growth, creating $20,000 of new growth for every Canadian. That's making Canada strong. Now, we're deep, deep into the campaign, and Pierre Poilievre has shown throughout that he has no plan to stand up to President Trump. Yeah, he's got
That's
the
true. He
plastic
doesn't.
straw thing, which I'll give him that. He's landed on that. Well,
See, this is what I mean. They're incapable of having a conversation. All they have are bullshit talking points with, again, no citation. You'll notice that My Two Cents hasn't provided a single citation for anything that they've said so far, or explained why these things are a problem. And again, we're back to completely ignoring, by the way, that Mark Carney's stuff is in a blind trust and has been since before the legal required date. So all of this doesn't even matter anyway. Again, are you capable of having a conversation, My Two Cents, or are you just here to just spout National Post bullshit? We've talked about National Post before, don't worry about it.
we face the gravest crisis of our lifetime. He's offering Canadians instead a fantasy of fiscal...
Can I confirm if 20% tax cuts brings to 50%? No. No. They said that they're giving a 15% tax cut. So they're cutting 15% of taxes. Allegedly. So they're not taking 20% and changing it to 15, according to what their document says. So unless their document is incorrect and that's what they mean, what they actually mean is they're cutting 15% of 20%. All right, so you're trying to figure out the math, right? So $200. Do I need to hold on. Let me pull up. You actually want me to pull up paint? Let me pull up paint. Let me Let me grab you a screen share. Hold on. Let me show you. I'll grab you paint. I'll make this a little bit easier. Here you go. All right. I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller just so we can see you guys here. Okay, there we go. You got paint? You good? You guys can see that? You guys can see that okay? I'll make it a bit bigger. You good? All right. So on $200, right? You got $200, right? You're getting a 20% tax on your $200, right? The liberals are saying they're going to axe. Actually, I'm not going to call that an X. They're going to axe 15%. They're giving you a 15% tax cut. So they're cutting 15% of 20% of the $200 tax. Solve for X. Don't do the math for them. How many times do I have to tell you motherfuckers, don't do the math for the conservative? You have to let them do the math themselves. I'm gonna start fucking timing you guys out if you don't fucking stop. Do not do the math for them. They will never learn. You have to shut the I swear to God. I will fucking end you guys. I know you guys are smart. I know you guys know how to do the math. We have to let the conservatives do the math or they'll never fucking learn. You have, like that Pokey City guy was fucking talking about. Poke family, whatever. They are trying to figure it out. You have to let them do the math. I will end you. All right. So, the Conservatives are not changing 200%. According to their document, they are not changing 200% to 15%. That's not what's happening. They're giving you a 15% cut of 20%. So, what's the math? You can do it. I believe in you. Figure it out. Hey, and Shane's in here. Shane, will you be the one conservative to do this for us? I believe in you. Shane, will you be the one conservative out? Can you do this math? And then can you tell me why we need to vote for Poilievre? I've been sitting here for 3 days trying, doing my best on Pierre Poilievre's behalf to have conservatives come in here and explain exactly why we should be voting for Poilievre. And I haven't had a single conservative be able to come in here and tell us in a succinct manner that makes any sense as to why people should vote for Poilievre. Please, I believe in you. Actually, yeah, it's been like a month. I'm being generous calling it 3 days, but it's been like a month. Please, Shane, come on. No, I'm not asking for a percent. I'm asking for the difference. The total number difference. So what is it of the 200? I'm not gonna fault you for answering with 3%. I understand why you would answer with 3%. Can you do the math? And show me the math. You gotta show your work. Don't just give the answer, show your work, how you got there. Come on. I believe in you. Come on, please. Come on. Come on. Big money, no whammies. Let's go. Come on. Yeah, how many dollars? Yeah, come on. I believe in you. Come on, Shane. Come on. Does he got this? Poor Dave, my friend. Dave. The Liberals already cut taxes in 2 areas. So, if the Liberals are cutting taxes and the Conservatives are cutting taxes, why should I vote for Poilievre? Oh, Shane, come on. No, I believed in you. Shane, no. Shane, please, no. I believed in you. Don't do this to me. Come on. $6. You show your work. Wait. No. Don't be too excited. He's got to show his work. Show your work. $6 is correct. So on every paycheck, the Conservatives are going to give you $6. How many $6 do you need? So if the answer is $6, right? If the answer is $6, right? At least he gave an answer. Yeah, you know what? I'll take it. X equals $6. All right, cool. So if X equals $6, right? How many paychecks, and that's per paycheck, so let's call it, let's be generous, and we're going to call this, they're going to give you $12 a month. So if the conservative big tax cut they're going to give to everybody is $12 a month, how many, assuming that inflation stops, assuming that everything just stays exactly where it is right now, how long will it take for you to afford a house? Solve for X being the time it takes to, on getting this $12 to be able to afford a house. Let's even call it the down payment for a house, right? So how much is an average down payment for a house in Canada? Or even if you don't even take the median, right? Let's say you don't take the median. Let's say you take the cheapest house you can fucking find that's a functional house. How many $12 do you need before you'll be able to afford a house? Come on, how many $12? It's okay, we're gonna get there. We'll get to the second half of why we should vote for Poilievre afterwards. How many How many 12s go into the average down payment of a house in Canada? No, you're good, April. That's fair. Hi, God, welcome. Thanks for swinging by. Come on, how many 12s would it take to get the down payment of a house? Tell you what, if you're, Poilievre likes to bring in single mothers working 2 jobs. If you're a single mother working 2 jobs, would an additional $12 on one of your paychecks be enough? Is 6%? Sorry, is 3% enough to offset a house? How much money would you have to make? How much money would you have to make for this 3%? Call it 3%, right? From this, right? How much money would this number have to be enough to afford a house in the down payment for a house in 5 years? How much money do you have to make for that tax cut to equate to the down payment of a house within 5 years? You don't care about taxes, you don't care about housing? Those aren't issues for you? The carbon tax that already got cut? Okay. Congratulations, your issue is solved. Yahoo. Bill C-69. Do you think that Bill C-69 is you're not allowed to build? Bill, have you read it? How unfortunate. How unfortunate. All right.
Tricks and phantom growth. He's ignoring the very investments that we need to build a strong economy that works for everyone. He's surrendering in the fight against climate change. He wants to cut what Canada needs: childcare, dental care, farmer care, the CBC. He's got a...
Yeah, you can go ahead and give the answer, Feline. They gave up. They've gone to the point where they're denying that a tax cut is a tax cut. Like, they've given up.
He doesn't have... It's not a bad interpretation of the plan, but it's not quite... Pierre has a, quote, bring it home, I'm quoting here, a bring it home tax cut. That is literally never home. It doesn't arrive for 4 years. In other words, after President Trump is due to leave office.
Ooh, that's a good point. That's a really good point. Read PP's platform. Brother, please do me a favor and take a look at this channel and go click on the live stream, and you will see 9 videos of me reading the entire conservative platform verbatim. I'm also currently rendering all of it together into one video, which is 12 hours long and is currently 1 day away from finishing rendering. So, sorry, I guess, and I'm not that sorry, and I'd do it again.
That's not a plan. Unlike Pierre Poilievre,
we're gonna have to agree to disagree? Agree to disagree about what? That you don't think a tax cut is a tax cut? Alright, fine. Then define it. What is a tax cut? What counts as a tax cut to you? And then explain to me why Carney cutting the carbon tax is not, in his first day, is not considered a tax cut. Explain to me. Tell Elmo. Tell Elmo how a tax cut is not a tax cut by defining what a tax cut is and then explaining why it's not. Show me that you know how to have a conversation. Explain yourself.
Managed budgets before. I have managed economies before.
God, Dave, you spelt weaker wrong.
Have managed crises before. And in a crisis, you have to...
So April's done some of the math and says a down payment is usually between 25 and 75K. At $24 a month means that you would need to save about 1K to 3K a month, and basically you would be dead before you could save enough. So this is like, you do realize that, like, if you're paying rent, and then you're paying any kind of, like, for your car and any kind of insurance, and you also understand that if the Poilievre gets into power and cuts Medicare, you're going to, like, medical stuff, you're going to have to then pay for medical insurance, and then whatever medical stuff as well, you're going to have to pay for. So, oh, Dave, I'm sorry. Yelling statements about Trudeau is not an argument. And that's completely your point was completely subjective. It's your opinion. Like, I mean, okay. And what's your point? If you want to make an argument, go ahead. But I haven't insulted you yet. I just told you spelled a word wrong. So if you don't know what an insult is, I don't know what to tell you. And yeah, RNGD makes a really good point. Also, yeah, if you want to worry about insults, as far as I'm concerned, Dave, so far what you have presented tells me that you are trying to feed us recycled cum out of your mouth, that is cum that has come from Russia, that you have sucked out of Pierre's asshole. So, until you have a point and an argument, I don't give a shit. Big Poke Family says, isn't the carbon tax just pause, not cut? Go look. Go ahead. Go look. Dave, why? We know that's your point. Why? You haven't provided us why we should vote for the Conservatives. Why? Come on. Tell me why. Why should we vote for Poilievre?
Build forward, not cut back.
And Feline did more precise math. I'm sorry, Feline. I'll talk about your math too. Feline said average house price in Canada is $675,331 average. A down payment is 10%, and thus $67,333 and 10 cents. This takes around 5,653 rounded up. The number of months that $12 savings would cover the down payment. There you go.
A crisis is a time to come together, not to sow division. It's a time for experience, not experiments. I know how. We can give each other far more than the Americans can ever take away. And I know how as America retreats from the world, Canada can lead it. That's what we're doing. Now, before I wrap up, I want to say a few words about why we as Liberals, we as Canadians, why we care about having a strong economy. It's not about the numbers. It's not about the money. It is because we care about people. It's because we care about people. It's because...
Wow, everything's not just about money all of the time? Go figure.
It goes back to that value of community that we all share.
Quick question for the Conservatives also. Do you think that spending money on kids with cancer getting free snacks while they're doing 8 hours of chemotherapy in a day is a deficit because you're spending money on those snacks? I'm curious if that counts as a deficit or not.
It's because we know that we're all in this together. That's why we implemented $10 a day daycare. That's why. That's why we expanded dental care to 8 million Canadians. That's why. That's why we will make major investments in
It's
health.
okay, the Conservatives think that's communism and don't care whether or not it is actually good for people or helps people. Because they think it's communism. Because they can't define communism.
Healthcare, and particularly mental health care and the treatment of addiction.
It's sad that both Dave and Shane have both failed the challenge, though I do appreciate that Shane did get one step in. So, like, props to Shane, who seems to have ran away now. But, hey, at least they were able to do some math. I'll give him that much.
And that's why my government is committed to working in real partnership with Indigenous peoples.
That's big and very important.
So even though these times...
And listen, listen, we take what we can get. This man was able to take one singular baby step. Also, Poke, did you look it up? Did you find out?
Unsettling. Together, we will win this trade war, and together we will build the strongest economy that works for everyone. We will do it. We will do it. And we will do it not because it's easy, but because it is right. And that is why I'm standing before you tonight. Canada, this great country, I am very fortunate this great country has given me literally everything. My family, my education, my values. And in return, I'm ready to give everything to Canada.
That is an emotional appeal. And a good one.
But
one thing that I do prefer about Carney over Poilievre is that they both do emotional appeals, because there's nothing wrong with appealing to emotion. There's fallacious appeals to emotion, and there's appropriate appeals to emotion. But one of the things that I do prefer about Carney over Poilievre is that Carney's appeal to emotion is positive. Right? It's about education. It's about hope. It's about building. It's about being positive about what the future can look like. It's about appreciating Canada for what it is and what it's done. Right? Pierre's appeal to emotion is just angy. It's just big angy. It's just mad. And fear-mongering. Like, it's about scaring people. It's about being afraid. It's about being upset and that the country is broken and yada, yada, yada. You'll notice that there's been no positive things that the Conservatives that have come into the side chat have come in here to say. They're just shitposting and talking about how shitty everything is and how bad everything is all the time. There's no positive perception. And, like, do you not think that maybe you should consider, like, is there a positive thing? There must be some positive thing that the Liberals have done in 10 years. Right? There must be at least one. You must be able to find at least one. Have you tried? Like, at least I'm trying to find positive things that Pierre Poilievre has done. It's it's earnest. Yeah.
But for me to do that, I need your help. I need your help. On Monday, the people of London, the people of southwestern Ontario could decide who's Canada's Prime Minister. There are 3 days, only 3 days left in this campaign. To use a hockey analogy, there are 3 minutes left in the third period of Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. It is time to leave everything on the ice. That means I need you to knock on even a few more doors, a few more to pull the goal. Don't pull the goal. I'm the goalie. Don't pull the goal. No, wait.
Oh no, that was actually really funny. Don't pull the goalie, I'm the goalie. Oh no. Oh. I earnestly laughed at that. Oh, that actually got me. That We're in third. We're in the third period. We're running at the end. We're at the end of the timer. Pull the goalie. No, don't pull the goalie. I'm the goalie. Oh no, that was actually funny. Holy shit. Fuck. Oh no, that was actually a good joke. Shit. No, wait. I'm gonna listen to that again.
Only 3 days left in this campaign. To use a hockey analogy, there are 3 minutes left in the third period of Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. It is time to leave everything on the ice. That means I need you to knock on even a few more doors, a few more phones to pull the goal. Don't pull the goal. I'm the goalie. Don't pull the goal. No, wait. To pull the goalie, we have to. I'm confused. Yes, exactly.
Oh, that's funny. Oh my god, that's... Oh no, that's so funny. Oh.
We need more phone calls. We need you to talk to your friends and neighbors. Anything, above all.
He's fucking likable, guys. He's fucking actually likable. Good god. Isn't he just going to incorporate the carbon tax into an industrial carbon tax? No, So from my understanding, doesn't that mean that we won't pay for it, but companies will? Okay, the carbon tax was already two-pronged, right? There was the industrial and the personal carbon tax. So there was the carbon tax you were paying at the pump and the carbon tax that was being paid by industry, right? That was already there. The personal carbon tax has been cut. The industrial carbon tax hasn't gone anywhere. So he cut costs for you, the individual. He cut costs for you, the Canadians. Right? That's what's happened. That's why your gas prices are currently lower. Right? So it's not incorporated. There was no change made to the second half. There was no change made to the industrial carbon tax. You continue to get the carbon rebate up until the end of this election, and then if you read the Liberal platform, there is a plan to continue to pass those savings on to Canadians. You wanted the tax cut, it's a tax cut. If you don't like the results of that tax cut, and Mark brings up and pass the costs on to us. Not necessarily. It depends on how it's written. It depends on how the law is written. So far, it has not been passed on to us. That's why it's cheaper right now. So it depends on what happens in the election about whether or not and what Carney does if he is Prime Minister. So, the answer is you got a tax cut and you continued to get the rebate for an extra 2 months. Sorry, hold on. When was he? Was it February? So, hold on. Let me double check, because he did it on day 1. So, let me see. Let me just double check the month that Carney was given office. I just want to double check. Assumed office in March. So, first day, so he's continuing to give you your carbon rebate for an additional month. So you're getting actually, not only did you get a tax cut, but you're actually getting money back that you never spent. So that's interesting. But alas, is that good enough? So now are tax cuts bad now because why? Because the tax onto industry hasn't changed. Whatever was being passed on to you is already there. And it's been there for years at this point. right? And I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news here, but for Pokey here, you're overthinking it to compensate for the conservatives. That doesn't mean don't think about it. It means that you're going out of your way to try to make it sound bad and try to think about it as a negative. Why? And that's a question for you. You don't have to answer me. You don't have to type that in the chat. That's a personal question. That's a you question. Why are you going out of your way to present and think about facts in a way that caters to a political party? He didn't raise the carbon tax on industry. He just got rid of the consumer carbon tax. Exactly. The industry carbon tax is the same and has been the same and has not changed. He simply cut the tax for you, the individual. He did nothing and changed nothing for industry. So there is nothing to pass on to you. If Elon, you just want to take over the show, can I retire and you can just do this?
Above all, we need you to vote liberal so I can protect the values we share, so we can stand up to Donald Trump, so we can build a united Canada, so we can build Canada strong. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.
Yay, that's the end of that. The next one is Poilievre's, but I'm going to take a quick break. Because I've got one more. I've got a little bit. Hold on, let me double check here. Let me see the timing on something. You know what? I might have to come back later tonight, and I think that might be what I end up doing. You know what? Let's do that. Tell you what. I am going to stop here. We'll stop here, and we will come back, and we will do Poilievre's after this. So Poilievre was in Oakville, Ontario. Both of these are Ontario. Oakville, Ontario on April 27th. So I will go. I have another stream I've got to go to. I'm going to go do that. And then I have one meeting I got to do. And then once I'm done that, I will be back. That'll probably be around sometime around 9 p.m., give or take, 8 or 9. So I will set that up. We will go and watch Poilievre. Because, of course, we watch both. We're not just sitting here just watching Carney get cheered and jerked off. We don't do that here. We're gonna go watch Poilievre get cheered and jerked off, and we'll talk about it. That's fine. So if you want, we'll come back. Thank you for your questions. I appreciate your efforts. Sad that conservatives have still managed to fail at every single run so far. We're still on a zero streak of conservatives being able to have a conversation. So thank you very much for joining me. I greatly appreciate your time and energy, and I will see you later tonight to finish and wrap this shit up. As for the conservatives that joined us for poor who was it that came in here for who did we have? Poor Dave, poor Sean, poor there's like one right near the beginning too, right? My 2 cents. You know what? It's really, really unfortunate. Poor conservatives. I believe in you. Maybe next time. Thank you so much, and I will see you over on Lower Energy Vids with Landon. Actually, hi Landon. Speaking of the devil, with Landon soon, and I will see you later tonight, and we'll cover the conservative half of what we looked at today. See you soon.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. God have mercy on your soul.